Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Classes of Mail. My name is Alan Gigax, and I am here for a very special episode with Michael Brasaemle.
Hi everyone.
So, many moons ago, it was like the end of season 2 or season 3, I don't know, it was a long time ago in Classes of Mail. I did an episode that I called the self-indulgent episode, where I almost never talk about myself in the sense of like what's going on in my life, you know, outside of the issues that we talk about on Classes of Mail. Because who cares? It's not relevant to what we're doing here. And in that episode, and I'll mention it again because that was a long time ago, I used to teach with a guy who the class was a very tightly run class. We needed the time that we had, and it was a multi-day class, and he would spend like 45 minutes on the first day just sucking himself off and talking about, oh, I won this award and I got this test score and I used to do this and that. None of it had anything to do with the class. And oh, my kids went to this school. And like I vowed, I'm not going to be that kind of teacher. But we got unlimited time on the podcast. And you may, you know, and the classroom is a captive audience. You guys, if you don't want to learn about Michael, you could turn off right now.
Yeah, so basically Alan's going to interview me
and
exactly. Learn more about me.
We're going to learn more about Michael.
Yeah, but before we do that, I like to go over some things.
Yeah, because one thing you really need to know about Michael is he is serious about carriers not being harassed.
Right.
All right, go for it.
And that's my number one pet peeve when management is picking on carriers and trying to harass them, okay? So this is what's going on now that the Christmas is over. Management is back doing 1838s and 3999s. Okay. Now, 1830 and 3999 is like a special route count. Okay.
Right.
It is a route count. So therefore, when you're doing a route count, it has to be done on the regular on the route so that the time will be used if it's under or over on the route to get a minor adjustment. Okay. Yeah. So for any of the stewards out there or any of the carriers who's at the stations when management keeps doing 1830s and 3999s, has anyone seen management do a minor adjustment?
It feels very rare. I know there was one done at my station like 3 years ago.
Oh, but that was 3 years ago.
Yeah, and it was one in 3 years.
But management seems to do this every single day.
Yeah, they're doing this 1838Cs all the time.
So they have to have a reason to do it, because if they feel like that this route is going over almost every day, that is a reason for them to do a special route adjustment and cut some of that route. Yeah. Okay. And then they have the reason to do it, but it has to be done at regular. Okay.
Right.
Right now at my station, I have a T6. They've done this special route count on this T6 3 times in less than 3 months. Okay.
It's probably not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence. Plus, he's a T6, not the regular on the route.
His times don't even matter.
His times do not matter. Okay. Right. Now, here's another thing too. When they're doing a special route, that management has to do the procedures properly.
Yeah. Okay? They've got to fill out the form.
They have to fill out the 1838C. That means they're not going to have a blank sheet of paper and write down the numbers or whatever they say. Oh, I'm going to fill the 1838C later. No. That's not the procedure. Right. They're supposed to fill it out as they go on, okay? Because they're recording not just the count of the mail, the time at the case also.
Right.
Time before you leave the station. That is an 1838C, okay? And so if management is doing this, they have to follow that procedure. Now, here's another thing that the carrier needs to learn. You have the right to verify the count, what management counted.
Right. Okay? Anything management counts, any number they put on there, you can verify that number.
Right. So if management might have put that as, hey, by the way, we only counted 26 flats.
Right.
But then the carrier counts and it's like 76 flats.
That could happen, sure.
Okay. Now it proves by the carrier that management didn't know how to count properly.
Right. And you also want to count as a punishment to management. Mm-hmm. You know, as a, you're not just going to get this freebie out of me.
Right.
you're going to count everything, including if that 1838C has a count of your DPS on it.
Right.
You're going to count your DPS.
So, since I've seen where they're not using the 1838C, they're just writing comments down or whatever. You don't know what comments they might be writing comments saying, "Hey, this carrier is doing this at this time."
In that case,
so they're watching carriers.
Sure, that's their job. That's an observation.
Okay,
but that's different.
Then we have 4584 and do all those things. There's an actual observation form for it. That management doesn't want to do the extra work to fill that out because why? Because they can do only one carrier at a time. They want to observe everybody at the same time. Okay. And when they do that, and using the procedure to do what they're doing, that is called a covert observation technique.
I don't agree with you on that, but I'll let you make your argument.
Okay. My argument is because they're overusing the procedure to watch the carrier, that means they're covertly using the technique, our rules to watch carriers. So therefore, they're using it to harass carriers, watch carriers, and giving a bullying behavior.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
No
That's
mutual
bullying.
respect.
Right.
Okay?
I would say it's more accurately described as a pretext. That they're using the 1838C as a pretext to follow, to harass carriers. And they're not really legitimately using the 1838C. They're hiding behind the 1838C.
Now, if you look at zero tolerance policy and joint statement of violence and behavior,
making the numbers is not an excuse for the abuse of anyone. Right.
And in the zero tolerance policy, if you look, the actions are not only harassment. The words can also be harassment, as an example. So if they're using the policy this way, that's also violating zero tolerance policy.
Yeah.
Okay. These are the contentions you can use for that.
All right.
Okay?
So with that out of the way, I came
protect all letter carriers, please.
That's right. I came up with the pretext, as opposed to covert. You guys need to know about Michael that English is not his first language.
Yes, you can see I have an accent.
Yeah, and he pronounces some words a little bit differently.
Yes.
Michael, what is your first language?
Korean.
South Korea or Best Korea?
Korea, North and South Korea speaks the same language.
Is it the same language?
Yes,
I didn't know that. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Because until like the 1950s, they were the same country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
technically, North and South Korea are still at war. It's just a ceasefire agreement.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, there you go. So far, the ceasefire is holding.
Yeah.
But like North Korea will like randomly fire missiles across the bow every now and again, and
because they're technically still at war.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just pretending they're bossy, but in reality, they will lose because in reality, our free countries have way more power than these.
Okay. So you
countries.
Were born in South Korea.
Yes.
In the big city.
I was born and actually. I don't remember the exact name. Okay.
Some small town.
It was in a small.
It wasn't in Seoul.
Village.
Oh, a village. Okay. Wow.
Because I remember going there and went to my grandpa's place, which was in a straw hut.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, it's funny because I think of South Korea as being the most futuristic country on the planet.
It is now, but back in the day in the 70s.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Right.
That's 50 years ago.
Yeah, they've come a long way.
That tells you how old I am.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
And so the South Korea back in the day in the 70s and early 80s, because I left Korea in 82. But the country was still under poverty because remember in the 70s, it's only 20 years from the war.
They're still recovering.
Yeah. And so I remember my Korean grandfather, he was a survivor. He knew where the food was that you would never know that was there.
Wow.
And like roots, he knew what roots to eat.
Sure.
He knew what roots were sweet to give it to the kids like me.
Cool, right.
And then he would, he'd take the root out and cut open the root and then hand it to the kids like me and my brother and my sister. And then we're like, what the hell is that? And then he hands it and says, chew on it. Then we chew on it. We're like, oh, it's like candy cane. What the hell?
That's
so
awesome.
it was like candy for us, you know? So things like
cool.
that. But growing up in the village, there was persimmons, apple trees, to chestnut trees. Needless to say that I never went hungry because there was free food everywhere.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So was there school?
Well, I went to school all the way up to 5th grade in Korea. So
Yeah.
I learned to read and write and count in Korean.
Right.
The biggest thing is I lost the comprehension of Korean language. So
Oh.
so because of that, I cannot hold a conversation with a Korean person.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
I got that same problem.
But the things that I can still do is I
Yeah.
can still read slow,
Okay.
not fast, but I can still read.
Right.
I can count. I still do multiplications in my head in Korean.
Like using Korean numbers.
Yeah.
The names for numbers. So like count to 10 in Korean.
Like 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
But that's like a Chinese dialect. Then you
Okay.
got the simple dialect. Which
Okay.
Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wow. That's so cool.
So I
dude.
know 2 variations of counting in Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is the numbering similar to American style
is.
numbers?
I just counted 1
I mean,
through
in the
10.
sense that,
Yeah.
like in French, for example, like they use 20s for some like
Like 2 II, you know, kind of.
Well, no, it would be
XX is be 20.
like 45 would be 2 20s and 5,
Right.
you know, instead of 45. Just like ours are kind of nonsense with the teens.
You know,
11,
on that,
12.
I don't remember from the school how they
Right.
did the numbers. All I remember growing up, the numbers
like, what's-
numbers was used the same as the Americans use.
Okay, so like
the numbers look
11
exactly the
for-
same.
Well, yeah, I know it's a base 10 system. That part I get.
No.
But like,
The numbers, the 1, 2,
yeah,
and 3,
I understand
are
that. It's
exactly
Arabic numerals.
same
Yes.
that I was taught growing up in Korea.
Right. They use Arabic numerals.
Yeah.
Right. That's fine. So let me ask you this. What is 11? What's the word for 11?
Shibil?
Okay. Is
Yeah.
that like 10 and 1?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's the sensible way. And then like 21 is like 20 and 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good job. That's the way to do it. Like,
Yeah.
because our nonsense, 11 and 12, that's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then 13 through 19, that numbering system is different from the entire rest of the
Right.
numbering system.
Right.
So in Korean, it's
Korea,
internally
the
consistent.
simple version,
Yeah.
ship means
10.
10. Ship il, which
10,
is
1.
il is 1.
Right.
So that's 11. Ship
Dude, that's the way to do it.
E means 2,
Yeah.
so ship EE means
Right.
12.
Yeah.
You know, there's no actual words for 12.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I've seen articles that like that's one of the reasons that American kids struggle with math in ways that like Japanese, Chinese, Korean kids don't, because our numbering system is a little counterintuitive. And if it's all just intuitive,
We'll just
then
have
it
to
makes
blame
it easy.
the English for that.
Yeah, well,
England.
not to mention our measuring system. Okay, so to get back on topic. So you grew up until 5th grade.
So I grew up
Korea.
in Korea, growing up mainly from Incheon. Okay.
Okay.
Now Incheon is where Douglas MacArthur landed to free South Korea.
Right on.
Where he landed in Incheon. So that's where a lot of people know where Incheon is.
So that was like the big city that was near you.
That was the city that I grew up in when I was not at the village.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
The village had no power at all. The city actually had power, but
And did you go to like normal school, like what
Yeah.
we would think of in America as a normal school?
yeah. So
Okay.
you know how a lot of things where people see kids going to school with the school uniform.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to wear that.
Okay, so you wore the little skirt.
No.
Tie.
The kid, boys have different ones.
Oh,
Girls
okay.
have the skirts. Come
All right.
on.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, these Asian countries are very conservative.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the Asian schoolgirls I've. Oh wait, that's schoolgirls. I got you. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now
So-
what happened? Dude?
so
Like,
anyway,
how do you get from there to here?
Okay, so in October.
This is a story I don't even
yeah.
know.
So in October of 1981,
Right.
the house that we were living at. Now this is it's not a house. We're sharing this whole community, and it's rare for a family to be able to rent 2 rooms because most of them only rent 1 room.
Okay, so the whole family be in one room.
Right. So,
Okay.
but for us, with my parents, because they both worked from 4 in the morning to like midnight every day, almost.
Right.
And so they were able to get 2 rooms.
Okay.
So 1 room was for my parents, and the
Ooh la
other
la.
and the other room was for the kids, which
Okay.
was me, my brother, and my sister. I'm the eldest.
Okay.
And so what happened was in Korea, to keep the place warm, there's no heater,
No central heat.
no,
Right.
no. So they have something called yantan, okay, which is coal that you put underneath the ground
Okay.
that it will absorb the heat into the floor of the rooms.
Okay.
And this one was, I guess, a little bit more specialized. So there was actually water that went underneath the
like
floor,
a radiator.
right?
Yeah.
To keep the floors warm. Well,
Okay.
it broke.
Okay.
Okay. And so my parents paid for to be fixed.
Right.
And the guy said, "Yeah, you can. Now it's fixed. You can sleep on that when it was freshly done." Well, the concrete was not fully dry, so the carbon monoxide went right through the floor, and so my
my
parents got
God.
carbon monoxide poisoning.
Holy shit.
And my mom died, and my dad was paralyzed.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
And so, my aunt, my brother, or not my, so sorry, my uncle, my dad's brother,
Yeah.
his wife, which is my aunt, she is took all of us in, me, my
Wow.
brother, and my sister. They have 2 kids, but
Okay.
they were out of all the siblings that my brother or my dad has,
Right.
he was the wealthiest of amongst them all, but yet
Right.
he was still poor.
Sure.
Okay. But she is Catholic.
Okay.
And so the Catholic church that she went to has a program called FCVN, Friend of Children of Various Nations.
Okay.
Now, before, they used to be called Friend of Children of Vietnam Nation because during Vietnam War, they were created for
sure.
Vietnamese kids.
Right. To kind of escape the conflict. Yeah.
Because Vietnam War is over, they changed it to Various Nation.
Okay.
So anyway, the Catholic Church was running this program.
Right.
But I was split between my brother and my sister because I was the eldest. So there was a what do you call it? It's not a foster care, but it's where all the kids are at.
Okay. An orphanage.
Orphanage.
Yep.
So I was at the orphanage for kids that's like 10 and over.
Okay.
And then my brother and sister was at the orphanage that for kids under 10.
Okay.
Okay. Because I was 10 at the time.
Right.
Okay. And so I was at a different orphanage, even though it was run by the same
Were
people.
you still able to see your brother and sister?
No.
Wow.
Okay. Because
Okay.
we're a different orphanage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They weren't like next door to each other?
But thankfully,
Apparently. Okay.
when the FCVN wanted pictures of us,
Right.
so since we collected a lot of those pictures, we handed them over to the FCVN.
Right.
And so because it's a Catholic church, they wanted to keep the family together. So
Okay.
that was me, my brother, and my sister.
That's
Okay?
cool. Yep.
And so my parents, who adopted us, are white.
Your
Okay?
parents in America.
Yeah.
Your adoptive parents.
So my
right.
adopted parents are white.
Okay.
But they originally wanted a boy and a girl.
Okay.
Okay. And they've gone through many problems of being able to adopt a child.
Right.
Because my mom has medical
Right. They
problem.
couldn't have kids of their own.
Right. And medical problems. She also is handicapped.
Okay.
Okay. But my dad was not. I mean,
Uh-huh.
he was no problem. So a lot of the orphanages in America denied them.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
So they were able to go through the FCP, and they did not deny them because I think the level of choosing kids drops a little bit when
Sure.
it's kids coming from another country.
Yeah, dude. My brother adopted a kid from Guatemala,
Mm-hmm.
and originally their plan was to adopt an American kid,
Mm-hmm.
but there are barriers in place that make it less desirable
Right.
and more difficult, and there are a lot of issues.
Right.
And so they adopted from Guatemala instead.
Right. And so, which is kind of sad because wouldn't you want to adopt the kids from America first?
Right.
But they make it so hard
Right.
to make it for the American kids be adopted first.
Yeah.
Which is so
after.
it's
I know
stupid.
this is about you.
Yeah.
But after things didn't work out with an American adoption, they were going to adopt from Russia. Mm-hmm. And as they were getting into that process, the bribes and having to hire a fixer while you go over there, like that was all standard. They're like, you're going to have this guy who's a security guard and he's going to be able to pay off the government officials for you. And they were like, I think we're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, everything went approved. Okay. And while I was at the orphanage, my dad woke up. My
Wow.
Korean dad.
Yeah.
Okay. And there was no way he could take care of us.
Okay. So before he was paralyzed, he was also in a coma.
Right.
Okay.
And then
gotcha.
he woke up.
Right.
But he was recovering, and he was actually because he was originally paralyzed from neck down.
Okay.
But then I guess his got recovered. And
regenerated to some
he
or something.
He can use his upper body now.
Okay.
And he still couldn't use his legs, so he was on like wheelchair and so
Sure.
forth. Right. Okay. And so once he found out that we're going through the adoption agency,
right,
he signed off to allow that to happen. So
because he knew he wouldn't be able to raise you guys. Yeah.
So
I gotcha.
Which I found out later that when he got out of the hospital and got a job, he worked for Catholic Church.
Oh, cool.
So
right on.
So I guess my whole family is part of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, there you go.
So anyway, I was adopted in 1982.
Okay.
And they said FCVN sent a what do you call it? Not a bodyguard, but somebody who's assisting the
assistant of some sort.
To basically to watch us, like babysitting us.
Oh, like a caregiver or something like that. Yeah.
Babysitting us to make sure that we're, because we don't speak,
Oh, yeah,
English
that's true. You didn't speak English at the time.
All. Yeah, zero.
Wow.
Okay. And so she was the kind of like a translator,
right,
to help us go from
nanny?
Something like that.
Okay.
But just for the trip.
Okay, gotcha.
Just for the trip. So from South Korea to LA, and then we had to change a flight from LA to Denver because that's where I went.
Right.
And so we had to fly to Denver from there. But she was the lady who watched us to make sure everything was okay.
Dude, could you imagine if instead of being adopted to Denver, that like you got adopted to like Phoenix, and you'd wind up being a Cardinals fan instead of a Jets fan? Right. Oh, dude, the cruelties of fate. You got so lucky.
I went to Denver. That's why I'm a Broncos fan, Nuggets fan, Avalanche fan.
Right. So dude, even the Nuggets have done well.
Lately.
It's a good sports town.
Yeah, at Rockies. They all keep losing, but but
they had a good run too.
Yeah, so like
they've all had success in the time of your fandom.
Yeah, now we're in Vegas. I'm in Vegas now. Right?
If you were a Cardinals fan, you'd never know the taste of success.
Well, now that I'm in Vegas and the Raiders are here, people kept asking me like, "Why don't you become a Raiders fan?" I'm like, I grew up being a Raider hater. Right. I can't change.
Right. Yeah, understandable. I get it. Growing up in San Diego, we hated the Raiders.
Yeah. So when I got here, I had no idea how to speak English at all. Okay. So my English comprehension was not my forte. Okay. So what you see me now is all those years that I've learned.
That's amazing.
And that is why I still have an accent here and there.
Right.
Yeah.
Incapacitated.
That's the one word I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to have a problem with the word Cheyenne. I used to have a problem with.
Why would that come? Oh, the street Cheyenne. We have a street here, Cheyenne.
Or Indians,
Yeah, sure.
I also had a problem with the word white.
Okay.
Grass.
Yeah. Is there an L and R thing in Korean?
Because there's no R in Korean.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. In Korea, there's a ra or na. There's no.
Yeah, but there's no
R sound. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. People make fun of East Asian people for that, but there's just no equivalent. It's just like if you're listening to Chinese, like is Korean a tonal language? Like the way Chinese is? Like I can't hear the difference.
I can tell you the Korean language is probably way simpler than English. Okay. There is only 22 alphabets in Korean language.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's cool.
And so I think it's like 8 vowels and 14 consonants.
Wow. Yeah. So there's fewer sounds.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of like Hawaiian is kind of that way too.
And if you look at a lot of Korean words, this is going to blow your mind. Mm-hmm. They're all circles, lines, and squares. They just make it look all fancy by making it look like a Chinese. But if you actually look, it's circles, lines, and squares.
That's cool. So on that point, there is no. If you listen to Chinese, a native Chinese speaker will hear tone in what they're saying. So like ja and je, like whatever. I can't do it. But
back in the day, I used to be able to know who I was Chinese. I used to know I was
by
Japanese, and I can still tell that apart. The hard part is when you start getting to like Vietnamese, and Thai, and so forth. And
my point is that there are things in that language that they hear fluently that we don't hear at all because we weren't raised with it, and it's the same with L and R in Korean and in these East Asian languages. Dude, a pro tip, if you're guessing someone's ethnicity who is East Asian, just guess Chinese. Because like 1/4 of all people on earth are Chinese. So You're playing the percentages.
I'm going to tell you this right. Don't guess.
Well, that's fair.
Just ask.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Asians take more personally against it when you call them the wrong race.
Yeah.
Because we've been at war for so long, they take it personal.
Right. Dude, it's the same thing. Like if somebody's Australian and you ask them if they're British, they get upset. But if somebody's British and you ask them if they're Australian, doesn't bother them at all.
But again,
all right,
because Korea was enslaved by Japan and China and so forth.
Yeah.
And the Korean, Japan, and China, they fought wars all the time. And they same with Mongolia and all that.
Sure.
That whole Asian countries have fought all the time, you know. And but in the recent modern history, it was China and Japan that has always bothered Korea.
Yeah.
So when you call a Korean that they're Chinese, they kind of take it a little offense.
Right. Like in the Korean War, North Korea was basically a proxy force for China. Right.
So in the Japan was actually World War I and World War II that took over Korea twice.
Right. Yeah.
And so at the time...
And probably committed atrocities similar to what they did in China.
Right. Well, they were using Koreans as slaves.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So, but...
On Classes of Mail, we're against that.
Yes, we're definitely against slaves.
Yeah.
Okay. I grew up in Denver.
Yeah,
from
let's get
from 82.
Right. So we move forward with the story. Now you've arrived in Denver. You don't speak English.
No, none at all. So
and do your parents speak Korean?
No, not at all.
Okay. And so you guys just use Google Translate, right?
We didn't have Google Translate back then.
Right.
But you know what we had?
What's that?
Was English, Korean, English
dictionaries. Oh my God! I totally yes, absolutely.
Because it was a dictionary that what my parents did was they would look at the English word and then it would translate into Korean.
Right.
And then for me, because I'm the eldest and I can read, I would read the Korean, which translated to English, and that's how we spoke for a long time.
Right.
Okay. But we learned pretty quick.
And would it use the Korean symbols to like phonetically spell the word in English? Or would you have to be able to read the English characters?
I can still write Korean.
Okay.
But with an English sound.
Okay, right. Okay. You can use the Korean characters to spell English words.
Like Alan.
Yeah.
I can write Alan's name in Korean.
Yeah, there you go.
So if you want to see what he looks like, I can do that for
called
you.
Or those symbols called? Could you spell it like in that way? All right, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter.
I don't know the exact word for Korean.
Yeah, that's fine. For what the letters
alphabet,
are called or whatever. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, because
again,
I was 11 when I got here. Okay,
you have to make your way. So I presume you went to like an English language learners.
So I started school at 6th grade with no English.
Right.
Okay, and I remember taking history class and all that. I have no idea what they're talking about. Right. Okay, but the only class I knew what they were talking about was math. Yeah,
of course.
Because
math, it's the same.
The 5th grade math that I was taking in Korea was like 7th grade math in the States.
Yeah.
So at 6th grade,
that sounds about right.
That was easy.
Right.
Okay. But that was the only thing I was getting A because of that. And then language arts, I didn't take language arts.
Right. Because you were way too far behind.
What I took
go ahead.
was TESOL, is what they call it. Teach English to Students of Other Languages.
Right.
Okay? So that was my language arts class.
So before my wife got sick, that's what she used to teach.
Okay.
Yeah, she was English as a second language teacher. Right.
And so that helped a lot for me to learn. And in that time, then I went to high school and everything, and I graduated in 89.
Okay. So by the time you get into high school, are you at least like you can get by in English?
Yeah. So like when I
guess when you're immersed in it, you pick it up.
In 8th grade, I aced my language arts, in 8th grade.
That.
So in 3 years, I was acing language arts. So
that's cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. But I still have accents, as you can see, to this day. I'm sure you guys can hear me when you listen to it. That I make some accents here and there. And
sure.
So, but anyway, I joined the military afterwards to Air Force.
Okay, so you graduate high school. The recruiter gets his hooks in you,
which was asshole.
Well, and Colorado is big with the Air Force.
Yeah. So you have to take that test.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
At the time, they call it MAGE, Mechanical Administration General and Electric Test.
Okay.
Which is like they call it the
ASVAB
test kind of thing, but back in the day, they called it MAGE.
It might not even be the ASVAB anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but back in the day, they called it MAGE because Mechanical Administration General and Electric.
Yeah.
And mechanical, There's no idea because I never took any mechanical classes.
Okay, you had no background.
Yeah. So the score that I got was like 44%.
All right.
So I could not be a mechanic, so I couldn't fix planes. Okay. And electronics, I got like 70. You have to have 72 to be in electronics.
To go into that field.
Yeah, into that field. So I didn't make that either.
Okay.
General, I had 88%.
Okay.
Okay. Administration, I had 99. Because that were math and things like that.
Sure.
Everything I knew and flew through my head.
Ordering and stuff like that. Yeah,
because a lot of the administration stuff, they timed it. Here's math. It was the simple math. What's 2 times 2 equal, and so forth. It was a lot of it was just simple math, but I knew that it's in my head. So in Korean.
Right.
And I would just knew the answers. I was just flying through it. I was done. And there's people who didn't even get finished because you had to do it in a certain amount of time.
Right.
Okay. And so my score was pretty high for administration and general.
Okay.
Right. They put me in supply, one of the worst fields.
Yeah, that's administration. Yeah. I get it.
And you know what's funny about that?
What's that?
The supply is logistics.
Yeah. Right. Which is you're in a logistics company now too.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, but I was in the military for 4 years. I got out in 93.
So what did your job
but
actually?
In the meantime,
yeah. Go ahead.
My job was supply. So,
right. But what does that mean?
Well, about to go there.
Okay. Cool.
So my first job was actually stationed in South Korea. Okay. At Osan Air Base, South Korea.
All right.
Okay? And I was there as a COSO, which means Combat Operations Supply Official.
Okay.
And so I was the guy taking orders on the flight line with the F-16s.
Okay.
And where all the crew chiefs, the pilots, whatever parts they need, they would come to me to order the parts.
Right.
Okay. And so, which was kind of cool because I'm working with right on the flight line with F-16s.
Yeah, they're cool.
Okay? I almost died. One of the F-16s almost blew the missile right at where I was, my office was at. So, but anyway.
Yeah.
After that, I went to, as a COSO, I also went to another COSO office for A-10s.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And while I was there, they decommissioned the F-4.
Okay.
Okay. And worked with the A-10s and so, which was kind of cool. And they were going to decommission the A-10s. So they moved me to a supply office.
Okay.
Called demand processing, which is the most boring job ever. Okay.
Right.
And now, of course, as you know, they brought the A-10s back later.
Once
we had the Desert Storm.
Yep.
So I was in during the Desert Storm.
Okay.
While I was in Korea. So I could not leave Korea because Desert Storm was, technically North and South Korea still at war.
Sure.
We could not leave.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got lucky. I didn't have to go to the desert.
That is lucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was there till 91.
Okay.
And end of 91, it was like December 91, and December of 90, or January 92. 91, and then December of 91 to 92 to 93.
Right.
I was stationed at McGuire Air Force Base.
Where's that?
In New Jersey.
Okay.
Okay. So I was there for about a couple of years, and New Jersey, I say it was at Wrightstown, New Jersey, next to Fort Dix, which is Army base.
Okay.
Which they closed the Fort Dix. I don't know if McGuire is still there or not. I think somebody might have told me they closed that down too. So I have no idea. But anyway, I was there, and while I was there, I learned Jersey
told
accent.
myself about 10 jokes about Fort Dix in the top. I've stopped listening and just telling myself jokes about Fort Dix.
I learned the Jersey accent, and then when I came back to Denver after I left the Air Force, everybody couldn't figure out what accent that was because now I have a Korean accent and a New Jersey accent.
It's all mixed up. Yeah,
the East Coast accent.
Right.
So anyway, I did that, and then from then on, I took lots of different jobs because, as you find out in the military, is that because I had such a basic job,
right?
There's no decent jobs being in the military when you come out of the military. Okay,
right?
It's all minimum wage jobs.
Yeah, you really have to get a specific type. Like if you're in the Air Force, you want to do A&P. Airframe and power plant.
Yeah.
So that you can come out and go into that field and make really good money.
Mechanics.
Right. Be an airframe mechanic.
Electronics.
Something like that. Yeah.
Be
communications, maybe.
Yeah.
Computer stuff.
Right. But so, fixing planes.
Right.
So things like that. And I didn't have that skill because I had the basics. So that's why I was upset with the recruiter because he kind of screwed me over.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
ordering supplies. You can get a job in the private sector ordering supplies, but it doesn't pay very well.
right,
Right.
Office Depot.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
So anyway, as I jumped on different jobs, I ended up working.
It reminds me of a friend I knew who was going into the Army, and he's like, I came out of whatever basic training or whatever, and they gave him two choices: that he could work in the warehouse driving forklift, or he could drive tanks. And he's like, that was a really easy decision. I'm like, yeah, that is really easy. And he says, oh, I'm going to drive tanks. And I'm like, you fucking idiot. Because, dude, forklift operators make good money.
Well,
that's a good private
the
sector job when you get out.
Give you the license,
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And a lot of times when you get out, because you learned that in the military, they might just give you the license without the training.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, but that's what happens. You get in the military and, that sounds like fun. I'm going to do that. And
Right.
yeah.
Well, because you're joining the military for those things, not to be doing forklift.
Right. Yeah.
But I learned how to drive forklift in the being that I worked in the warehouse. So I did learn to be a forklift driver.
Right.
But anyway, after I got out of the Air Force.
Dude, imagine going in and like being a welder. And you're like, oh, what a shitty job. But dude, when you come out, you're making bank.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. That was not you.
Yeah. That was not me.
Yeah.
Right? And then I ended up with a bunch of jobs, and then I ended up selling cars. Okay.
Oh boy.
And this is where, I learned I learned courage to talk in the military.
Okay.
Because you build courage in the military.
Yeah.
Because
fair.
I was kind of a weak dick when I was growing up.
Yeah, because a timid foreigner, you didn't know the language.
Yeah. So I was kind of a weak
get
dick.
it.
But I learned to be more stronger being in the military.
You get a missile shot at you.
Well, not only that, you go through the boot camp and people are yelling at you, screaming at you, and trying to make you a better to this.
Right,
tougher person.
Yeah.
And so I learned to be more...
Even in the Air Force boot camp.
Yeah. Even in the Air Force boot camp. Okay. And so I learned how to be more stronger in there.
Right.
Then the car business is where I learned how to be even stronger.
Oh, dude, for sure. You have to be willing to put yourself out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's been in car business or not, but I'm telling you right now, back in the mid-90s to early 2000,
right?
When you see all those car news about how salespeople were this way and that way, how sleazy they were, and so forth. Well, I was in that, okay?
Right.
But because I came out of the military, I was more of an honest person.
Okay.
So I couldn't sell cars as well back then, okay?
Right.
I was selling enough to live, okay?
Yeah.
But not enough to be the top salesperson.
Okay.
But one thing I learned is that the managers in car business that you see in the movies,
right?
Some fat Italian guy sitting down yelling at you how stupid salesperson because you couldn't sell cars or whatever. That's the people that was sitting in management,
right? That's
in car
like
business.
The stereotypes are all real,
and they are all real. It happened back in the day,
right?
Okay?
Right.
And so one of the sales managers decided...
Have you ever seen that movie Glengarry Glen Ross?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Used cars, and then there was another one I forget, but there's a lot of car movies.
Right.
But anyway, this Italian guy decided to call me a bunch of names.
Okay.
You're POS, this, you're this. And I mean, just going off and saying, because I let a customer go.
Oh, dude.
Okay. And so decided to call me all the names. This is where I learned how to fight back, because when you get yelled at by these managers over and over almost every single day,
right?
Either you fold, or what's the other way it happens?
You fight back.
You
fight get thick skin.
You get thick skin fight. And I fought back.
Yeah.
I almost beat the shit out of him.
Ha!
Okay. I mean, here's the thing. I came out of the military, even though it's the Air Force.
Right.
I'm 5'11". I weighed 160 pounds pure muscle. Do you think that guy's any chance to fight me?
Right.
None whatsoever.
Yeah, he's a big tub of goo.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I was about to jump over the counter and beat the shit out of him, and everybody had to hold me back, and it took like 6 guys to hold me back.
Wow.
Did I lose my job? No.
Right. Yeah, because it's the whole
because it's a car business.
Right.
They want you to have that kind of anger and that much of an attitude to sell cars, so they kept me.
Get out there and kick your customers' asses.
Right. That tells you that you have courage, that you're not a weak dick kind of thing. Okay. So they hold you for that.
Right.
And that's where I learned how to fight back with management. Right. Most of it. Okay. And then so in the car business, I was there for a long time. And then, of course, you guys know what happened during 2008, 2009 when there was that market crash, the housing market crash.
Oh, yeah, sure. And suddenly people didn't have the disposable income.
Right.
Right.
So I went from making over $50,000 a year to making $7 an hour.
Oh,
Okay.
dude.
And so I had to sell everything I got.
Right.
In fact, I had to move around to different jobs.
Okay.
And the way car business worked in Las Vegas is they'll pay you minimum wage
Right.
if you don't sell cars because
Right.
of the hours that you worked.
Right.
But you have to make it up for it. So the next month, if you sell enough cars to pay off your minimum wage,
Oh, my God.
So what a lot of
They'll
people
take it back out.
they'll take it back out.
Wow.
Okay. So what happened is
That's got to be illegal.
but that's what they
Yeah,
do in
yeah.
car business.
Right,
okay?
right.
So what happens is that a lot of salespeople will quit and go to another dealership so they don't have to pay
Right.
that back.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's how they get away from not paying that back.
I got you.
Okay. Because how can you collect money if you don't work at that company anymore?
Yeah,
kind of
right.
thing, right.
Yeah. They got no
And-
hook on you anymore.
Exactly.
Yep.
So a lot of people were doing that. Me, I was still selling enough cars that when they were drawing money for
Right.
or paying me minimum wage, it was only a few dollars.
Right.
So by the time it was next month,
Right.
if I had to pay it back, it wasn't that much.
Right.
So
Did you ever work at Finley?
No.
Okay.
I worked for Auto Nation Company.
Okay, yeah. The
Start-
John Elway.
start-
Oh,
yeah,
because
John
John
Elway.
Elway, of course.
I
Yeah.
started in Denver and then moved back to Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay?
Did you ever get to meet John Elway?
Yeah. Yes, I
No,
met
you
John
did?
Elway. I met John Lynch also.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. And so I did meet a lot of the Broncos players.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know why?
Because you worked at
When I
Auto
was
Nation?
at John Elway Dodge in Denver, the general manager who ran it
Right.
is the brother of the owner of Under Armour.
Oh, wow.
And
How
so
about that?
because the brother is the owner of the Under Armour and he was kind of starting the company,
Right.
he was giving away a lot of Under Armour to a lot of football
Wasn't
players.
Under Armour the guy from Shark Tank? Mr. Wonderful or something? Is Under Armour? It doesn't matter.
I don't
All
watch
right,
Shark Tank, so I don't
eventually,
know.
we're already 40 minutes in.
Yeah,
we got to
okay.
eventually
So, yeah.
get to the post
Yeah.
office.
So anyway, so because of that, I had so I moved on. Once the car business went to crap, and that's when I learned I don't want to be car business anymore because I don't want to go through up and down and
Right.
make this money and so forth. I didn't want to be car business anymore. So I looked around. I looked around, and then finally I applied everywhere. And I got two job offers that I thought was sweet. One was at the Venetian Valet,
Right.
but you had
dude.
to start as a part timer.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But that's a big job because you can make a lot of tip money from there. Once you become a regular, like a Huss, you can make
Right.
a lot of money.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Valet guys made 6 figures easy.
Right.
Yeah. Especially at a nice place like Venetian.
So they were going to give me that job.
Right.
But other job offer was from post office. Okay?
I mean, the long-term stability is the big difference.
I talked to a lot of my friends, and they told me, you know what, government job, because everybody knows the post office is a great job, government job.
Right.
You should take that.
Yeah.
Well, things have changed because now
They
people are
have.
saying post office sucks now. Don't work at the post office.
Because it does. If you're new, it does. Yeah.
Now all I hear is a lot of people
But
telling
dude,
me, don't
valet
work at
ain't
the
the
post
job
office.
it used to be either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't do that.
Right.
I'm glad I stayed with the post office. I'm glad the experience that I learned how to
Right.
fight management.
Right.
And so I think that's where.
But dude, even when you came into the post office, I want to get this in before we get out of here.
Right.
Because you didn't start as a carrier.
No,
so talk about that a
started.
little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. So when I first started, I started as a clerk, a PSC, piece of shit employee.
Right.
Okay. And so I started as that, and now, as a new guy, like every new guy that you see, I did all the work.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I literally did all the work. When I
Dude.
first got in, I was
Yeah.
pitching parcels, and I was doing accountables. I was putting up all the advos. I was doing this. I was doing
Right.
that. I was doing all the work. And then when the carriers came in at 7 a.m. to work,
Right.
notice I said 7 a.m.
Oh, back in those days.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
So when they came in at 7 a.m, the carriers walk around and go, "Hey, we know who worked today."
Oh,
You know
'cause
why?
everything's ready.
No, that's
Oh,
not
why?
it. Because I was the only one sweating my ass off. I was drenched in sweat.
Yeah, because you're actually working hard.
Right.
Right.
And so, but anyway,
Yeah.
I was a
So this
scheme,
was
I
in
was
a
a scheme clerk
in a station.
in the station at Emerald anyway.
Yeah. Were you there when they tried to have that voice recognition for the scheme?
No.
Oh, dude.
No.
What a disaster that
Yeah.
was. All right.
I was
anyway,
a
go
scheme
on.
clerk, and so I had to memorize
Yeah.
all the zip
It's
codes,
incredible.
all the streets
Right.
for all the zip codes we have at that station.
Dude, it's
Okay.
the most, it's like a superpower to know the entire scheme for the station. It's like
Yeah.
impossible. It's so incredible.
As you know, as you carriers, all you have to do is memorize your route.
Right.
Okay. Or T6,
Yeah.
you can memorize 5 routes at the most.
But if you ask a scheme clerk who has the 6500 block of Sahara, they'll tell you. Who has the 6400 block?
But
they'll tell you.
they know all the zip codes.
Yeah, and
Okay?
all these tiny little
Okay.
streets. It's so incredible.
Well, that's changed now.
I know. Yeah,
Okay.
because now it's just a ring scanner and the
Yeah,
barcode.
so
they
the
read the
new
intelligent mail barcode.
scheme clerks have no idea where
Dude,
they are now.
and you'll
Yeah.
get the same because if the barcode is wrong, then in your hot case, you're going to keep getting a piece of mail that's for somebody else's route.
Right.
You give it back to the clerk, they're just going to scan it again and put it right back in
Right.
your hot case. Yeah, that's
So
the truth.
Yeah. So that's what. So anyway, as a scheme clerk,
Yep.
I passed almost every zip code except for one. So I was down to
Wow.
my last zip code.
Right, because you actually have to test.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
to take a test. If
Right,
you
right.
fail the test, you're fired.
Oh my god.
That's how it worked in the post office back in the day.
Right.
For a clerk, if you
I
fail the test,
remember-
you're fired.
Yeah, I remember seeing that stuff like in the ELM or wherever, where it talks about knowing the scheme. Yeah.
So that's what I had to go to. But I was passing them, so it was no problem. Okay?
Right.
So while I was taking the tests and everything, I was down at the plant doing the
Right.
test because they had to make the scheme clerks go down to the plant
Right.
to learn the scheme and to take the
Oh,
test
that's
there.
interesting.
Where they don't do any of that shit anymore. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, while I was there, the people, the HR people, they're friendly people, and
Right.
they're I think in different parts of management now, but they were friendly to me.
Right.
And so they came up and said, "Hey, they're starting a new program called CCAs." Okay.
Right.
And so they're saying you should apply to be a CCA because we believe that you'll become a regular before anybody else
Right.
because the program's gonna.
Sure.
That's what it's for.
It's supposed to be a path to career.
Right,
Yeah.
path to career.
Right.
So, and which is going to be the same pay because as a PSC, I was getting paid $15 an hour. The CCA program starts at $15. So clerks were getting $15 an hour before the carriers were.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, I go to one of the regular clerks.
Okay.
Hey man, do you think it's a good idea to become a carrier instead of a clerk? And
Right.
and this is his answer. Hey, look around. How many clerks do you see that we have at this station? They think it looks like they're going to retire. I'm like, I don't know, 1 or 2.
Uh-huh.
How many carriers that you see that looks like they're about to retire?
2/3 of them?
And I go, I don't know, almost all of them.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, you'll be replacing them,
Right. Right.
and so
Yeah.
you can become a regular faster.
Right. And there's
Okay.
way more positions
Right.
too. Yeah.
And so I was like, so I told the HR lady, you know what? Let's do that.
Right.
And what was cool about that at the time is that postmaster or MCS or whatever his name was, plant manager,
Right.
whatever his name was, Martinez. Okay, do you remember Martinez?
No. I don't know any of those
Okay.
people.
Anyway, he came up and kind of swore us in to be a CCA,
Okay.
and also told us because he was telling us like a pep talk.
Okay.
Because we were clerks, because there was about, I don't know, 30 of us. Because we were clerks, we don't have probational period anymore.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you go to a station and the management tells you that you're going to be fired within that probational
Right,
period,
you
you
have-
let me know and I'll talk to that manager.
There you go.
Okay?
Right.
So that's why I knew his name well, because I'm
Yeah.
like, you better remember that name.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
And so management did try to fire me, saying that I delivered express mail late because it was
Okay.
an international express mail.
Ah.
And I delivered at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right, but the international you had until 3, I think, back then, or maybe it was even 6.
No, back then it was still 12. Everything had to be-
International was
every
2. Oh, okay.
express mail had to be delivered by 12. That was our
Yeah, our service
stations-
standard. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I was late by an hour or something like that.
Right.
They were trying to fire me. I go, that's funny because I talked to Martinez.
Right.
He told me that I'm not on probation. They're like, they looked at each other and go, well, we don't want to talk to Martinez. They're like, well, you know what? We like you, Michael, so you can stay.
Dude,
And
stand
I
up
did
for yourself.
not
Yeah.
have a steward with me. They did not allow me to have a steward present, but I still was able to protect myself
Look
without
at
them.
that. Yeah.
Okay. And then
And what station was that? Emerald, you said?
No, this is at Summerlin now.
Summerlin. Okay.
Okay. Now at Summerlin, I had a supervisor told me to deliver an express mail and sign for it.
Dude.
You know me. Because in the military, you don't sign for anybody
Right.
else's
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
Because that's fraud. And in the military, you'll go to prison.
Right. Right.
I'm like, it's the same thing because the post office is federal
Yeah,
government. So I'm
right.
like, it's the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I told her, hell no, I'm not going to sign for that.
Right.
And she goes, I'm giving you instruction. You know what my answer was to that manager?
Tell
and
me.
everybody's listening in.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sign it. How about you give me discipline for that?
Yeah.
And because I'm not going to sign for it.
Right.
Everybody's
I
like,
dare you to discipline me for it. Right.
Yeah, I dare you to discipline me for it.
Yeah.
As a CCA, I'm telling the supervisor this. Okay. Brand new CCA. Nobody's seen me before.
Dude.
This is a new thing.
Right.
And here I'm
That's
telling the
beautiful.
manager,
Yeah.
I dare you to,
Yeah.
issue me discipline for
Right.
that because I'm not going to sign for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then she kind of realized that that's not going to work.
Right.
So she goes, well, you know what? I'm going to get somebody else to go and deliver this for me.
Go ahead.
I said, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay? As long as it's not me.
Right.
After I leave on the street, I call the post inspector because it's on the keychain at the time.
It is. Yeah. They give you, it's still like on the back of your badge.
Because my fellow CCA, I didn't want them to get fired.
Right.
So I called the post inspector and said, hey, this supervisor name is this, this, and this, is
Wow.
trying to make a CCA sign for an express mail and deliver it at the front of the door. I know for
Oh
a fact
my
because I was
God.
in the military,
Right.
that is illegal, and I
Right.
just don't want that CCA to get fired.
Right.
And
Dude, that's amazing.
And the post inspector, like, oh, like it was an unexpected phone call.
Right.
Like, a CCA, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, thank you for giving me this information or whatever.
Right.
After the day was over, I come back. That supervisor running at me. Why did you call the post inspector? I can't believe you called the post
Dude,
inspector.
and they actually responded. That's even
They told her,
that's
you
the
better
most
not do
shocking
that.
part. Dude, amazing.
And so all these carriers at Summerlin saw what
Right.
I was doing. They're like, we want you to be our steward.
Yeah, no kidding.
Even first 2 months as a CC, they're like, we want
Right.
you to be our steward.
Yeah. Dude. And
Because
this is
I'm
where,
like, I don't know the contract. They're like, I don't care because you know how to
Right.
fight.
Ain't that the truth?
And that's when I started becoming a steward.
Right. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then how long did it take you to become full-time regular?
Well, full-time regular took me, I think that's the program started in July
Okay.
of 2013.
Right.
I think July of 20. No, it started at, I think, July of 2013. And then I became a regular in November of 2014.
Oh, so you did get through reasonably quickly.
Right.
Oh, right
Yeah,
on.
just
So that part
like
worked
year
out.
and 3 months or something like that.
Right. That's
Because
not
right
bad.
now you see everybody's going over 2 years now.
Yeah, they're hitting
in
the
Vegas.
limit,
Yeah.
right? Then you become a PTF for a little while.
Right.
And yeah.
Now, my seniority wise,
Right.
the people that were ahead of me as a CCA were TEs.
Right, because that TE time counted.
Yeah. So they were ahead of me.
Right.
But all the CCs that started with me,
Right.
I was number 2.
Ah, look at
So
that.
I was number 2 CCA. So
Right.
I became one of the first few actual CCAs,
Right.
not TEs before, became CCA regular here in Vegas before most of them.
Look at that.
Yeah. And
Right
I'm
on,
still
man.
not at max pay.
Right. Yeah.
Still not.
Yeah. Table 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I still got like 3 levels to go.
Well, Michael, that was really interesting.
Any other questions
It's been great
about me?
to learn about. Yeah, dude. What's the status of your brother and sister?
They live in Texas.
Okay, so they lived with you with your parents in Denver,
Right.
And then eventually they went their own ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Originally I moved out first because I joined the military,
Right.
and I did come back because that's why I told you I worked at John Elway Dodge,
Right.
in Denver. But anyway, as time went on, my brother and my sister, they're like, "Oh, I want to move away." My sister married a guy who's from Boston,
Okay.
and then she got married.
Is
and
it John Murphy?
She married him and moved to Boston.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And then my brother stayed, and then and my parents were stayed here in Denver, and then my sister, my brother, I don't want to go through all the other,
That's
but he
fine.
moved to Texas,
Okay.
and after he moved to Texas and saw that homes were so cheap and this,
Oh,
and this,
yeah, sure.
My sister, who became a widow,
Okay.
saw that she could sell her house for like almost $1 million,
Right.
and can come and buy the same type of house in Texas
Right.
for 33% of what she bought it for, kind of
Right.
thing.
What part of Texas?
Fort Worth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little near Dallas,
Yeah.
So they're both there, and now they both, from what I get, my sister absolutely hates Fort Worth.
I think that's
she wants
where
to move back to
Badmouth
Boston.
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They have nothing to do with the post office.
No, good for them.
Yeah. So
Right on. And then your parents, you said your mom is disabled.
my mom is now
She still alive?
She passed away
Okay.
on the year that I got hired in the post office.
Wow.
So
What about your dad?
the year that the HR they were trying to hire me, and I said, I'm sorry, man, but I have to go to a funeral for my mom.
Right.
Can you postpone that for another week?
And they obviously worked with you.
And
on
they
that.
worked with me and
That's
had
cool.
me postpone for one more week.
Yeah, I would always tell people in the academy that, like, if you have existing plans coming in, like somebody in the academy, they were going to get married. And they said, I'm getting married in 2 months. I won't have any vacation time. And I'm like, just tell them when you come in that, hey, I came in with this already. And in my experience, management is usually really cooperative about that. Yeah. What about your father?
My father is still in Denver.
Okay.
Yeah. And so my mom, she's originally...
because you go back there to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad's he was born in Denver.
Okay.
So he's still in Denver. My mom was originally born in Maine.
Ah.
And so when I get time, I try to go to Maine to visit my family. Like when I was at Boston,
Right.
I took extra time off, went to Maine and visited my uncles.
Oh,
and
yeah, I remember
cousins.
that. Yeah.
So that's
you
what I did, which
cut
was
out-
awesome. It was the best, one of the best
Yeah,
vacations.
that's
so,
cool.
Yeah.
And then, any idea what's up with your dad back in Korea?
He passed away from a heart attack.
Ah, all right.
So now I know. Here's the thing: is I know there's like 3 uncles that, from my dad's side and 1 aunt. I have no clue where they're at.
Right.
My mom had like 2 brothers. I have no clue where they're at. So
Right.
So I know I have a big family in Korea somewhere.
Right.
And I have no clue where they're at.
Yeah. When's the last time you went to Korea?
When I was at Osan Air Base, which was back in 90 and 91.
Oh, wow. That's been a long time.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about going back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
When after I retire.
Dude, before we go, okay, this is going to be the last thing. You have to tell the story about being able to pass for Korean on the Air Force Base.
Yeah. So in Korea, back in the day, and this is the early 90s, so I don't know if they still have this or not.
Right.
Okay. And they have something called soju tent. Now, a lot of people know what soju means.
I know what
that's
soju
the rice
is,
wine,
yeah.
right? And so there was a lot of things called soju tent where a lot of Koreans used to drink and eat off, whatever food they had in the tent.
Right.
And so we were told back in the day that we are not authorized to go to soju tent.
Right.
Okay. And I have no idea what the reason was, but we're not supposed to.
Probably go in there and get too drunk and get in trouble.
Me and my friends, we got drunk and we really didn't give a shit what was going to happen. So we sat at the soju tent and is taking shots of soju and eating the street food.
Right.
And of course, we're all talking. And then the security police for the military, Air Force, call them SPs, I think back then.
Oh.
They're walking by her, people talking English, right?
Yeah, that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah. So they opened up and said, you're not supposed to be in the soju tent. Get out. And so they kicked my friends out and left me in the soju tent.
Because they thought you were native. Yeah, right. That's awesome.
And, so I finished eating because I'm like, I didn't want to leave the food there. I ordered this. I finished eating and I walked in like, asshole, you're not Korean.
Dude, that's great. I love that.
I mean, I got a lot more stories than that,
Yeah.
but otherwise we'll be here for a long time.
Yeah.
So
We're coming up on an hour. Dude,
Thanks
great
for listening.
episode.
Thanks
yeah.
for, an hour of my life kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, this is going to be listened to. I mean, you have a very interesting life, Michael.
Yeah, this being adopted is so...
Right.
If let's say if ICE tries to arrest me and send me back to Korea, I don't know what to do.
Is that something that you worry about a little? Because it seems like they've been taking people off.
Because my parents are white.
Yeah. Right.
They're Americans.
Yeah.
I'm a citizen.
Yeah.
I'm naturalized citizen because I was adopted to a white family.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. You're fully 100% American.
But because the way they just go by what you look
like. Right.
I mean, I'm worried about that.
Yeah.
But kind of they're leaving Nevada alone or Las Vegas alone right now.
Right. There hasn't been a ton of
there
snatchings
has some,
here.
but not as much.
Right.
And so I'm kind of happy with that a little bit.
Right.
My brother and
We'll
my
see how it
sister,
goes.
same thing because they're in Texas. They're not doing that as much in Texas.
That's weird.
Because they're only going after liberal cities.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Minneapolis.
Right.
Boston. Chicago.
Yeah.
They're only attacking where the left is.
Right.
I wonder why.
All right. That'll do for now. Yeah. Michael, thank you very much for coming on and talking about this. It has been an absolute pleasure. And everybody, thank you very much for listening. And we will catch you all next time.